We are delving back into the Horus heresy. I've been commissioned to paint up a Moritat in Sons of Horus color scheme. And I thought, why not make this a video as well? I've never painted a Moritat on the channel. They're very cool miniatures, and I'm very excited to bring it to life for you guys here today. Before I dive into that video, I just want to say a huge thank you for everyone who has been supporting the channel in 2025. We've had a great year, and hopefully we're going to continue that through and have an even better 2026. Everyone who has supported us over on Patreon, kept the lights on, the cameras rolling, a big thank you to you guys. If you guys haven't checked out the Patreon before, I suggest you do, linked down below. There's a whole host of awesome reasons for being involved in it. You get access to a private Discord server where you can hang out with me on a daily basis and talk about your hobby. There's loads of different events that happens over there. There's painting competitions, community showcases. It's just a really big community of people, over 500 people in there now, all hanging out and doing cool projects. You also get an extra video every single week. You get access to the Mediocre Hobbies podcast only through Patreon. And of course, we do giveaways every single month. The last couple of months, we've given away a Night Titan, we've given away a Dark Elder army. And this month, we are giving away an airbrush with a compressor. So for anyone who doesn't have an airbrush and wants to get involved, we're going to be sending this kit to one lucky patron in January. So if you want to be in a chance of winning this, all you need to do is be signed up to the Patreon at any tier. All right, guys, without further ado, let's dive in, get the Sons of Horus miniature painted up. So this is the model that I have constructed. It is obviously one of the Legion Moritat miniatures from Games Workshop. And yeah, he's a pretty cool model. He's a bit of a pain to build, as normal building as a Space Marine goes, but then obviously those energy or the power feeds that go from his pistols to his backpack are actually straight pieces, and you have to heat them up and bend them into position and make sure they look natural and match his motion and stuff like that. Bit of a pain. I think I managed to pull it off quite nicely. I think they fit perfectly, and I'm glad that that's over. And now it's on to the painting side of it. But I thought I'd also share with you guys what exactly a Legion Moritat is, because they are very much a unique kind of style of Space Marine. They don't exist in the 41st millennium at all. I can't think of a single thing that would be a lone wolf from Space Wolves, maybe, but even they are quite different in the lore than what a Moritat is. So let's just go into it and let me share with you what these are. Moritat was an unofficial designation given to certain Space Marines of the ancient Legiones Astartes who displayed suicidal urges and a blatant disregard for overall combat doctrine. Operating independently on the battlefield, these individuals were often employed as effective shock assault troops and tactical assassins. From its earliest days, the Raven Guard Legion employed more Moritats than did any other, so Raven Guard were very much fond of the Moritat style of warfare. The individuals assigned to this duty were often those considered extreme in their methods, even by the cold-blooded. And they were often used willingly to undertake missions from which they were often not expected to return. This bygone rank no longer exists amongst the Adeptus Astartes of the 41st millennium, but certain specialized Astartes formations, such as the doomed Battle Brothers of the Blood Angels Death Company, are akin to the bygone Moritat of old. So that's just a little bit of information on what a Moritat is. Traditionally, they are armed with kind of high-powered pistols, usually dual-wielding a pair of pistols, whether they be Volkites or plasma pistols. Other variations do exist in the lore, but I'm not sure if the miniatures ever existed. But this obviously is the Volkite variation here. So the idea is they will literally charge at enemy formations like gunslingers from the Old West. They are very fast moving and they are very accurate with those pistols, and they will gun down countless enemies before they finally succumb to the amount of return fire that is required to take these miniatures down. So Moritats have always been quite cool. I have always had a soft spot in my heart for anything that kind of resembles a gunslinger. Western movies are for sure my favorite genre of movies ever. Tombstone is my favorite movie of all time, so having any kind of miniature like this to play around with is very cool. The only problem is this is a commission, so once this guy is fully painted, I'm gonna have to box him up and ship him off to somebody else instead of putting him in my Sons of Horus army, which is a bit of a pain, but that's neither here nor there. So obviously I've thrown a bunch of base coats on this guy already, and I've shaded him down with a nice Nuln oil to get him nice and dark. Now it's time to layer him up and get him all shiny and ready for the tabletop. So we're starting with Sons of Horus green, and we are just starting to layer up that armor, being careful to leave that nice shaded contrast in all the recesses and all the shadows of the model. And we're using the Sons of Horus green at the kind of higher points, something where the light's going to hit, and obviously highlighting as we go. There isn't actually a very good step up from the Sons of Horus green, at least not that I can see in the Games Workshop range of paints. So what I did was I got Sons of Horus green and I just mixed it about 50-50 with matte white. And that gave me a really nice color that I could highlight with. And then I went in once again at that armor, highlighting the very highest points just to make the armor pop out a little bit more than it already was. Normally, when I'm painting Games Workshop miniatures, I do stick to Games Workshop paints, but because this is a commission, I want to do as good a job as I humanly can. Therefore, I will use all the resources that I have available, all the little tips and tricks and kind of paints and tools that I have to make it look as nice as possible. So I'm grabbing Death Reaper and Dungeon Stone Grey as my kind of mid-tone and highlight for all those black areas. Because basically these guys do wear modified Mark IV power armor. So it's a standard suit of Mark IV power armor. And then it has all these additional plates bolted on kind of knees, shins. They're on some of their elbow joints, their wrist joints. There's an extra piece on their power pack. So these kind of different sections of armor in all the kind of reference pictures that I found were painted a separate color, normally black. So I decided to follow that through and do the same thing with this guy. But obviously I wanted that black to be nice and highlighted because it does stand out quite a lot. Those power cables as well being black, I just did them and highlighted them exactly the same with the kind of Dungeon Stone Grey and the Dark Reaper colors that I used previously. From here, we're going to put the Blood Angel's red contrast on the energy coils of the Volkite weapons. Now, I know traditionally Volkite weapons aren't really supposed to have energy coils. I think these are traditionally painted in like a brass color, but I like kind of specialist weapons standing out a little bit more. So I decided to go for it and paint them up like energy coils. I have no regrets. While the red contrast was drying, I decided to work on some of the silver. So first of all, with a brush, I'm making sure I highlighted all those weapons and on either the silver sections, all those kind of crazy grenades that he has strapped across his belt. Kind of targeting system on his backpack, his bionic eye. The symbol for the Destroyer cult, which is on his right shoulder pad, which is a very interesting design. I just added slight highlights to that, and obviously don't forget his awesome bladed knife. After that, I grabbed a little bit of case foam and some silver paint again, a very light touch of that. As you can see, I'm removing most of it on my hand and then very lightly touching it across the model just to leave a couple of kind of dings and scratches behind. Like these guys are, like I said, charge headlong into the enemy. So there's a large amount of small arms fire pinging off their armor at all times. So it's going to be a little bit chipped. So once that Blood Angel's red contrast is fully dried, we're going in with a white dry brush across all those energy coils as well. The recess will stay nice and dark and red. And like I said, the outside part of the coils will go nice and white. And with that, we are going to grab an intensity ink from Green Stuff World. This one is going to be the Phoenix Orange intensity ink, very bright, very vibrant. And we're going to paint this over the coils. This does a really nice effect for plasma. I love how this effect works. I do it on quite a lot of my plasma coils across many different forms of my armies, and I'm always happy with the results. So I decided to do that across his Legion Moritat. There's a couple of other things to do. Add some transfers, paint up his eye lenses, and that was pretty much it. That left me with a finished Moritat. I based him as close as I could to the client's army. He sent me some pictures through his army. I did this. Hopefully he's happy enough with that, and he's happy enough with the final result of the Legion Moritat. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you do all those good things like the video, ask me any questions in the comments below, including if you want to commission yourself, and also make sure that you're subscribed. Those things cost you absolutely nothing, but they make a huge difference how many people see these videos and how quickly the channel grows. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one.